Did I notice whether or not, or when Trey Benson's eyes lit up when he was asked about Destyn Hill? Young Bleak writes that in the chat. Makes me think he's going to be special this year. You know, I've had this weird feeling. I've brought it up a lot. About him.
We'll pull it up for the Warchant TV audience.
So
if you're in the car, what are you waiting for? I put out the tweet today, which I ISO cam Trey. There's no audio on it. It's just the look. When Destyn Hill's name comes up, it tells you the truth about what's been going on, about potential too. Because guys, they're all different shades of supreme athletes, especially the way that Florida State now looks compared to 3 or 4 years ago. But even amongst that crew, we just talked about Carlos Williams. There were dudes that were contemporaries of Carlos Williams on defense or on offense. And when that name was brought up, they go, whew, that guy's different, man.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how quickly he's football ready. It's been 2 years, but it does seem like there are a lot of people very excited about his presence. So I get excited to hear that and see that. Oh, there it is. Let's see it again. Oh, hey now. I like it. Well, let's be honest. So for those in the radio audience or later on,
it's a happier version of the Alonzo Mourning animation.
Yeah, he gets asked about Destyn Hill and his eyes light. He's like, oh, we're talking about somebody now. Game recognizes game. I'll tell you the quickest way, and you know what the reaction to that is? That's speed. That's speed. What he saw wowed him in terms of speed. They're all big, strong kids. They've been around other big, strong kids. Benson's been here now for well over a year. He's seen a lot of big, strong dudes, and this team's gotten a lot more of them in. So for him to react that way so soon to Destyn Hill, not having seen him in pads, not seen him play and practice yet, then that means they were out running and working out, and he went, oh, that's different. That's a different kind of twitch. That's a different kind of explosiveness.
This is why we waited on him, Trey.
Yeah.
That's what the coaches would say.
Well, and we asked that question probably 6 months into not knowing where the hell the dude was, and every day we're asked about it.
Was he Lene Kakua? Was this ever a thing?
Yeah, we were laughing. We were kind of like, well, and then hence he got named the unicorn. And we continued to wait and continued to wait. And then they continued to wait and continued to wait. And then we kept hearing, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. You just got to wait. It's a family issue. I went, all right. It gets dicey. You don't know what to do. And then we finally said, why would they wait? There are a lot of other good football players out there. Why would they wait? And the hope was that the answer was Trey Benson's response to the question, what do you think about Destyn Hill? That the answer was, ooh,
that's different now.
Yeah, that is fast. We got asked yesterday on Seminole Headlines, and Corey and I were talking about this, and I kind of hinted that it was possible when we were trying to get a yes out of him. But the question was, what if Keon Coleman's our best wide receiver next year? And you think about the possibility of what that does with Johnny Wilson not even being your best receiver. And I thought it's entirely possible. He was at a crap offense with a sorry quarterback, and he's young, and he put up the numbers he did a year ago. It's entirely possible in this offense he will be your best receiver.
Yeah, it's possible. In fact, we just recorded before the show today the number 10 through number 6 in the top 40 video. Keon Coleman, spoiler alert, will be amongst that section, which is really high praise for somebody who hasn't taken a snap in this offense yet. But the hard part for me before the season starts is it's almost like the defensive line conversation. Josh Farmer may well have more tackles for loss than Fabian Lovett by the end of the year. Does that mean that Josh Farmer necessarily is a better defensive tackle right now than Fabian?
Just the productivity, right?
And he'll have one-on-one matchups.
Yeah.
I don't know how to quantify without seeing it on the football field. You could tell me that Keon leads the team in stats. Okay, sure. Or that Jaheim Bell is second on the team in catches.
Sure.
But a defensive coordinator's got to pick their poison, and therefore you're going to have one-on-one matchups. The great thing about this offense, at least in theory, we're going to see it more in practice this year, is it's star player agnostic. You want to go to one-on-ones. It doesn't matter.
Whoever the defense is trying to take away, you turn, you go to the,
Now, there may be a crunch time situation where you want to force the ball somewhere, but that's not really what this offense is about. It's about finding matchups, creating multiple formations so you can have easy reads for your quarterback to say, okay, I love it. You're in one-on-one, I'm going to you. And that could be Jaheim Bell. It could be Keon Coleman. It could be Winston Wright. Who knows? But that's going to be the hard part this year is who is your best anything? I don't know. There's so many weapons and it's so balanced.
Go back to the bowl game against Oklahoma. Once we get the offense rolling, and Dan Orlovsky says, and he did a good job in that game, by the way, as a color analyst. He says, as they come to the line of scrimmage during that last drive, Wilson's in singles here. You've got to go. You got to go deep here. I don't care what your play call is. You have to go deep here. We used to have guys like that. That was the deal. You're like, whoa, he's in singles? Throw it up. And I think you're going to hear that a lot in the stands, at home on your couch, whatever you're watching and wherever you're watching. There's going to be a moment where you're like, oh, well, okay, they're trying to take this way and this way. Well, okay, it's Jaheim Bell. Oh, run the ball. We got numbers. Run the ball. They're dead. You got 2 to block 1. This is over. You could watch this offense be that kind of prolific where you line up and you're like, oh, this is a one-on-one for the slot. Oh, this is a one-on-one. So Vendravius is going to go nuts tonight. There are lots of moments that you're going to recognize those opportunities.
That's why I think in a 12-game slate, let's take garbage time out of it. So you could freeze the stats at halftime or the third quarter because there are going to be some blowouts now this year. Even at that point, before garbage time, I don't know that Johnny or Keon are always going to lead us in production, in receptions and yards and touchdowns. I mean, out of 12 games, I don't think it's a stretch to think that in 5 of those 12 games,
right.
It's either Jaheim or it's Marquiston or it's Vandravius or Winston Wright or, Destyn Hill, whoever it's going to be. I'm talking about catches and receiving yards just because of the matchups. You could have a shot play that goes for 65 or 70 yards, and that's Vandravius Jacobs. And he's got 3 catches, 92 yards. Freeze it. Now we're in garbage time. He was your most productive player that day with a touchdown, 92 yards. But it's all because people want to double Johnny. It's all because people want to double Keon or Jaheim Bell. That's what makes this offense so damn fun to think about. And I think that's the way it's going to play out on the field too.
Man, if they we and I could just go back and forth and talk about the endless ways in which you can attack defenses with the personnel that you have this year, given that your quarterback is what he is. So, in worst case scenario, every time they're in man, just roll him out and tell him to take off.
And he is, yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
And also, he's not afraid to give somebody a chance in one-on-ones. There are quarterbacks who are averse to that. They like guys to be open before they throw it. And those are not the guys that you win championships with.
No.
But Jordan, even as he was emerging, even before he put it all together, he loved to go to one-on-ones. I mean, and he will give you a shot down the field. The best throw he had, the first good throw he had, outside the numbers and deep. And we've got a lot of dudes who can win those battles.
That throw he made more consistent than any other throw in his repertoire without question, even when he wasn't a good quarterback yet. He could make that throw. He could drop that, on a dime. He could drop that.
To a Micah Pittman, to a Pokey Wilson, who don't exactly have, the catch radius of a Johnny Wilson.
Yeah, he would just drop that in there nicely, and then he developed the other stuff.